Hey everyone, in tonight's free video, I want to just quickly go over some questions I had on the S&P 500. And I got some questions about, hey, what do you think is going to happen here? What are you looking at next? So I've been talking about this a lot in the premium video, and I think I mentioned a little bit about it in the free videos. And you can see here that we've rallied up into this range. Now, you guys know, if you don't by now, that typically between the 50% and the 618, I don't have the 50 drawn in here, but the bottom of this box is roughly the 50. Typically, when a market gets into that range, it's an area where it starts to find some resistance. So I'm looking at this market. I know we've rallied up into there. You can also see I love to use the RSI, and we use it for one trade or a couple of trades actually. But really, I love using it as just a momentum sort of helpful momentum indicator. I don't take setups based on the RSI, not something like this, but we like using it because it's very helpful in predicting when things are starting to maybe change direction. And you can see, if I give you this example, like right here, if you go like a few videos ago, you'll see that we talked about like there. You could see we're starting to sort of flatline here, and we had this expectation that based on our rules that, there was a decent chance that we could really start to see a retracement here, and we have. And now we're at a situation where we're right into the 50 to 618 range, which is a typical area where the market starts to It starts to find some resistance. On top of that, you can see the fact that we've sort of filled this gap here that a lot of people were looking at. And you got the RSI. Now, it's still pointing up a little bit, but it is starting to it's starting to wane a little bit right here. So keep an eye on this area right here. I believe that there's a decent chance, there's a better than 50% chance, probably closer to 60, 65, that this thing has some difficulty here and then starts to pull back. Now, what I don't know is this going to be a pullback like this before we rally back up, or is this just going to be a pullback and a retest of the lows and we go lower? It's tough to say what that's going to be. I have to be honest with you, the summer has been, from an intraday perspective, it hasn't been all that active. Swing trading has been amazingly great. It's been fun and very active for us. But from an intraday perspective, we've had some nice trades like with gold and oil and some of the currencies. But intraday has definitely seemed to have slowed down. You get a lot of sideways during the day. Then the last hour or two, you start getting some momentum. So, it's been fun. It's been we've done very, very well, and it's been exciting. But one of the things is that we're just waiting for these setups. So, on Monday, when this market opens, I'm really interested to see how the Monday action is. If the Monday action is sideways or similar to what we've seen over the last couple of days, then I think that there's a decent chance that this thing is getting ready to pull back. Now, we don't have, based on our setup, a particular trade here. But what we'll start to do is we'll start looking at like some of the smaller time frames, because we have this in the back of our head. And this is something I sort of talk about all the time, which is you get this big perspective and then you look for a smaller trade. So if you go a couple videos back and take a look at Google. So I've got Google here, and if we go back to our monthly chart, right, this is what we were looking at. On the monthly chart, maybe a week or so ago, I talked about the fact that we were right at the 50% retracement, right? And you could see that the RSI, this was, let's go, if we try to imagine 1 week back, let's see if I can look at it on a weekly. So on 1 week back, it was hard to see it. We're looking at the monthly. So, so we looked at, I think it was like right here. And we saw that the market had just started to curve up at the beginning of the month, right at the 50% retracement. And we said, keep an eye on this. There might be some long entries. Now, so far, we've popped up about $30. But what I talked about was, let's look at the daily chart, get an idea, and you can see there's that 50%. You can look at the daily or a 60-minute or a 4-hour chart and look for particular setups. And it's the same thing that I'm saying that may happen in the S&P. Now, by the way, Google is rallying into that 5618. You can also see that momentum here is starting to wane, and the momentum starting to turn here. So we may get a retracement here, but I'd be keeping a close eye on that. We may have a setup called a slingshot trade. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But going back to the S&P 500, you're going to notice the same sort of thing. We're rallying into the 618 retracement, okay? And you can see RSI starting to turn here. Keep an eye in this range, okay? I'm not saying it's definite, but I think there's a decent possibility that once we, Monday, depending on what Monday is like, if it's sort of sideways, we might start to see some turning over the next few days. And that may produce an opportunity for you to look at like a 60-minute or a 15 or a 30-minute, whatever it is you trade, and look for a short setup. Okay, a particular short setup. And that's something we're going to be talking a lot about when we do our 2-day Fibonacci class. So there's information on that on the website. In fact, let me pull it in real quick. So we're going to be doing a 2-day Fibonacci training class. We've gotten a lot of feedback after our summer camp and stuff like that for the 2-day class. So that's going to be happening in about 18 days or 17 days, a couple weeks, July the 28th and 29th. So it's 2 full days learning, trading fibs, learning the particular setups that we do on a daily basis. If you're interested in checking that out, there's more information about that here. We're going to be doing a free webinar probably at the end of this coming week, and maybe we'll probably offer some sort of special. So if you're interested in checking that out, just check out the site, and we'll let you know more about it as the days come closer. So hope that helps. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video update.